Gloria, it's so good to see you, and I've been reading My Life, and it's like you're in the room.
Oh, that's good.
It's like you're talking to me.
Yes, I wanted it to be my voice, if you know what I mean.
Very much so. Very much so.
And of course, there's so many stories that you afterwards remember. But anyway, I'll put them in the paperback later on.
Well, see, I didn't really realise that you started singing when you were so young. I mean, you're a kid.
I know. Well, I'm 70 years in show business this year, which even I can't believe. But it was all due to singing. And when I talk to my grandchildren, they can't believe that in those days there was no telly. That this was pre-television, you know, it just shows how far back it goes. Even I do that. And but it was big business, you see, because we were. I mean, you live in Scotland, you know that sort of very close community. So we were doing church halls, you know, community halls, and it was a concert party. And my dad was a newspaperman by day and a magician by night. So although I was only sort of 7 when I started to do it all, he was chaperoning me, and of course I was in awe of him doing all his magic.
So you could have maybe, you know, the sliding door moments, you could maybe have been a singer.
Oh, excuse me, I was going to be a singer.
Yeah.
I mean, I only got into broadcasting through singing. Because Lulu, you know the days when, with Eurovision, Lulu, for example, would sing 8 songs and the public would choose one.
That's right.
Well, the guy who wrote one of the songs that didn't make it, he was in Northern Ireland. He said to me, why don't you record it? And so I did, and it was a good backing track. And it went into number 7 in the Ulster charts, which is marvellous.
Gloria Hunniford, you have done... The thing is, you know, reading this, you kind of... You do forget what a trailblazer you were. You know, way back in the early days when you were doing all of these things, right up to when you get the job at Radio 2, because you were the only woman having a daily radio job, which is extraordinary. And it was a real man's world as well.
Well, I never thought of that because it was never my plan. So I wasn't analysing it. But the man who gave me a job in broadcasting through that record, he took me into the newsroom the first day I started. And I literally started overnight as a so-called broadcaster. And he said to me, what do you see? And I said, I see a lot of men pounding on typewriters. And he said something that I've never forgotten. He said, remember, you're not coming in to do knitting and sewing and things. He said, you're as good as any bloke in this room.
Good for him.
And you'll be out in the streets of Northern Ireland with bombs, bullets and barricades. And so ever since then, without me ever having to analyse it, I never, ever suffered, in my head anyway, from sexism, because I always thought I was as good as any bloke.
Exactly.
Because you're right, there were very, very few women around at that point in broadcasting.
Especially, like, you know, when you got the Radio 2 job and you were doing that